You're a funny guy.
Funny how?
Peace. I'm glad you asked this. Basically, how do we well, first of all, by we, I mean us, black people. How do we discern the difference between a loving inside joke, sort of self-deprecation as a means of celebration of cultural elements? Okay, how do we discern that from the linguistic minstrelsy that I referred to in the first video? You have to take a look at the nature of the joke. Is the language itself the thing that's being laughed at, or is it something that we're talking about that we have in common that brings us joy, and it's actually joyous laughter? That's different. And in fact, I do that quite often myself in my own content. It's not that we can't make jokes with the language. I just got to think about making jokes of the language. Again, there's a world of difference between telling a joke and being a joke, and making a joke of all of us right along with you. And our intentions don't negate our actions, because we can be loving and toxic at the same time. Which leads me to your second and third question. What would I have y'all do? Should you go all Tommy Goodfellas on folk? Yes, actually, yes. You got to remember that in that scene with Henry, Tommy never got buck wild. He didn't get up and go all gangster dump on the table to do all. He didn't do all of that. He just asked him a very simple question.
Funny how?
And there's nothing wrong with us investigating one another's motives, one another's intentions, when you see us doing things that we know quite well can be used out of context for purposes of anti-blackness. Because remember, you don't need to be white to be anti-black. And in fact, many of the things that we consider traditional are actually conditional. They are traditions that are rooted in conditions, and many of our social practices are actually conditioned responses. We have internalized anti-blackness in many ways, and now the thing that we are calling self-deprecation is really self-defecation, because we've been conditioned to on ourselves. Therein lies the difference. But I get it. We got jokes, and we love a good kiki, especially a good inside joke. But it's virtually impossible to have an inside joke on the World Wide Web. And no, that doesn't mean that we have to modify our behavior all the time for the white gaze. Just because they're gonna see something don't mean that they're entitled to it. We could check them at the gate. Yes, that is true. But this ain't about the white gaze. This is about how we see ourselves. And this is something that even some of the greatest black comedians understood. Dave Chappelle himself turned down $50-some-odd million and canceled his show because he realized white folk was laughing at him, not with him. This is a meme that was posted by a Jamaican. There were people in the comments who were laughing along, people who were Jamaican. And this was seen as self-deprecating humor. So I ask y'all the same question that Tommy asked Henry. If this is funny to you, funny how? We out here.